Hello everyone. Today I'm going to create another video and I want to discuss and talk more about project management scheduling tools, specifically the Microsoft projects. If you watch my videos previously, you may say this guy is supporting Microsoft project, he is fan of the Microsoft, and he might have a little bit bias against for the Microsoft project, but uh, honestly, I'm not. Although I'm using Microsoft project since 2003, I'm using this tool since 2003, but I have a lot of complaints also for these tools. This tool. I've been working with Primavera and Microsoft Project. I have experience working with both of these tools. I also have experience with other modern tools like Jira, like ClickUp, web solutions, and also even a little bit of open source solutions like Project Leap, right? Now, in this video, I want to go deep in Microsoft Project as a scheduling tool, and I want to show you uh, the the negative points of this tool. The how can I say it? The the points that this tool can have improvement in future if Microsoft wants to improve this tool, and show you the limitation of this tool. And I hope one day a team from Microsoft watch this video and try to improve this tool, because honestly, it's a very it's a very strong tool if you want to go in deep in your project. For from planning perspective, it's a very amazing tool. It's powerful and it can help a lot, although it has many limitations that we are going to discuss today. But still, it's a strong tool that give you a lot of options for your planning. Okay, so I don't want so our main topic is in this video is let me draw this about project management scheduling tools. My focus in this video is Microsoft project. I don't There are other tools, as I said, Primavera, P6, and many tools, monday.com, Jira, ClickUp, and other tools, but I don't want to go in details for those tools. My focus in this video is only Microsoft project, and I don't want to start discussion that's very famous or infamous discussion that the Primavera is better or Microsoft project is better. I don't want to go in that concept. I don't want to open that topic, because it is not helpful. Both of them are great tools. Even other tools are also great. And honestly, it doesn't matter how much these tools provide feature for you. The only important point is how you want to use them, how you want to adopt them in your organization, in your project. Primavera or Microsoft project may provide many features, but if you use them as a checkbox, just listing the task and say this is done, this is not done, this is done, this is not done, then what's the difference of using these tools and Excel sheet, or a simple sheet, or right, or even a paper? You can have the list and you can just think that this task is done or this task is not done, right? So important point here is it doesn't matter how much feature these tools can provide for you. The important point is how and how much you want to use and adopt them in your project, how you can get benefit of these features in your project. Okay, so this was an introduction. Now let me open Microsoft project. Microsoft project is evolved since 2003 that I started working on this software. The UI changed a little bit. They introduced new features inside of the Microsoft, and also in parallel with the Microsoft project, they had the SharePoint project, and through the SharePoint they introduced Enterprise Project Management, EPM, or Microsoft Project Server. So all these features, even at some points, more features also available on SharePoint side and Microsoft Project Server side. And honestly, if you want to compare Primavera, for example, with Microsoft Project, you cannot compare these two alone. You have to compare Microsoft Project and Microsoft Project Server with the Primavera and Primavera solution, if your intention is really to compare these solutions. But now in this video, my focus is only on the standalone Microsoft project, and I want to discuss about how this in software evolved, what kind of bugs exist in the software, where are the limitations based on my experience, my perspective on this software, and where they can focus to improve, where we can have the improvement. Okay. If you look at the Wikipedia of Microsoft project, this Microsoft project initial release was 1984, so same as my age. Seems like me and Microsoft project both born at the same age, 1984, 40 years ago. And the latest release is, I think, this one, right? Long time LTSC. 2018 build, this one, 12 November. The latest update is 12 November 2004. Okay, so this is the latest update for the Microsoft project. And if you check the main release, 2003 and 2007, then Microsoft released 2010, then 2010, 13, 17, and 2019. The release was totally similar. They didn't introduce any specific feature that kind of revolutionary feature in this release. And this is the current version that currently available. Okay, so let me start with the first topic. When you open the Microsoft project, by default you have such a view, right? And some of you may not see the view bar, so like this, but you can enable the view bar. Let me start with discussion about the view bar. Okay, let me here, Microsoft project, view bar problem. View bar problem. The first point that I want to discuss. Let me take a screenshot. Okay. This is the view bar. Right. Control C. Control V. And let's start with this problem, view bar. Okay, so what is the problem? View bar used to be very practical in, I think, Microsoft project 2007 up to 2010. It was a very practical feature in Microsoft project. Why? Because when you enable the view bar here, you had access to all important and key views in Microsoft project. Now when I enable here, I have calendar. Okay, honestly, it's not a practical view. It's not something that you can use. Although you may say, it's a beautiful, I can view the task here. Let me put some task here. T1, T2, T3, T4, right? And let me make them automatic, and 20 days, 20 days, 20 days, 20 days. And even create a link just to show you. Okay, now I'm going to this view. Okay, it is not giving you important information. The Gantt chart view is more practical compared to calendar view. You can double click on a task information is open. On Gantt chart also you can double click on a task and see the task information. On calendar view, this task is just repeated, right? T1, 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 right? It's not a what I'm saying is, if you remove this view on your project, nothing important is happening. Okay, it is not affecting you. But Gantt chart is a very practical view. Okay, what we used to have was, when we enabled the view bar on the left side, we could see all critical and important views in Microsoft Project. Gantt chart is one of them, definitely one of them. Gantt chart, task usage, let me go down here, tracking Gantt, resource graph maybe, okay, and resource usage. Okay, team planner is a new that they introduced later on. So we could have all these views, important views, on the left side. But now, when I enable the view bar, I have to, for example, if I want to tracking Gantt, I have to click here, go down, look for tracking Gantt, and enable the tracking Gantt. Then go back to the Gantt chart. Okay, if I want team planner, I have to go down, find it, then if I tracking Gantt or resource usage, I should go here, right? So the difference here is, you may say it is not much a difference, right? But the important concept in the UX design, user experience design, okay, the problem is user experience, usability feature. Okay, the problem is, you had a feature in your solution that was practical, because with one click you could simply change your view to a specific to important view, to enable important view, the practical view that you are engaging in daily work of in this software. But because you introduced more views, more nonsense views, for example, task sheet. See, the task sheet that we have here, this is a very good example that whoever designed this software, whoever designed the UX for this software, had no clue, no understanding on usage of this application. Absolutely blind on how end user is using this application. Totally blind, right? Because they introduced this and put it here, because here, if you right click, go to view bar, you can see all views in the software, okay, including those views that you can create on your end. And you can press edit, and there is a thick here showing menu. If it's showing menu is enabled, it means it's important menu for you and you want to have it here. This is the menu, showing menu. If it's enabled, you can see it here. So they introduced this useless view. They call it task sheet. Okay, it's basically same as Gantt chart, but without the graph view. Okay, but you can, if you don't want to see the graph, you can just select and move it here, right? So what was the purpose? What was the intention to introducing the new view and include it on the left panel? Okay, to consume a space on user experience without adding any value, right? If I don't want to see the Gantt, the graph part, I can just select, move it here. What the hell is this? Why I should have a task sheet like this? What's the point of having this? Why I have to see it here? Okay, instead of this useless view, I want to have tracking Gantt. And now, because if I want to go to the tracking Gantt, I have to it will take more time for me. I have to click more here, then search. Where is the tracking gun? Why I cannot tracking gun, enable it, then from whatever I need and move back. And now I have to click here, find the Gantt chart, move back. You get what I mean, right? So what it used to be was, let me go to the view bar, more view, calendar, totally useless, absolutely useless. Detail, Gantt chart, okay, Gantt chart with timeline, okay, let's leave it, leveling Gantt, milestone. Many you may find a specific use case for some of these views, okay, but it's not like that you need them in your daily work, right? That's what I'm saying. Resource form, it's a resource sheet. Why have it here? Where is the, I removed the calendar, right? Network diagram. Network diagram was something important maybe 50-60 years back. We don't need it, honestly, we don't need it anymore. Gantt chart is covering that point with illustrating better information. Task usage, task sheet, where is the task sheet? Let me remove task sheet, okay. Then timeline, maybe keep the timeline, tracking gun, resource form. Just let me show you the resource form, okay. Resource form here, okay. You normally use this view by splitting your view like this. Let me, Gantt chart. In Gantt chart you can right click, show split, then on downside you can select and select, for example, where is it, I can say resource form, yeah, but you can change to, this is a schedule, work, cost. I remember we used to have more option here when you split, okay, but you can enable and you can go for, okay. Now it's a little bit more practical because here I can select the task, I can see on the Gantt chart, I have a vision on the Gantt chart, I have view, I can select the relative task, and then here if it require I can change the data, okay. But now I have a problem that I cannot see. Maybe they changed it recently, because here here resource and predecessors, okay. So now I can use here to assign resource. I didn't define any resource yet, but if let me define resource yet. See, now I have to go to resource sheet, I have to click more, find the resource sheet. It used to be very simple on the left side by default to select it, but because they introduced they basically added nonsense views on the left panel, either you have to manually go and check and select them manually and remove the join menu. You can rearrange the left panel, okay, but the point is, later if you install new version of Microsoft Project, again you have to do it manually, right? And it's not nice, honestly, it's not nice. Let me go to resource sheet and introduce maybe two resource, just to show you. Here you can specify the resource and press OK, okay, to assign the resource, okay. Okay, so this is a practical approach to split the view and use this one. But if the view is like this, you don't have any visibility on your tasks, you don't have any visibility on the Gantt chart view, the sequence, other information related to tasks, and you have to blindly work. So what exactly is this one? Okay, because now I don't know, let me put 6. Okay, now going to Ganchart resource for, I created a resource, right? I created another resource. Let me 8. Okay, but I don't want to create one. This resource form is to create resource, right? But it's not practical because on resource sheet I can see the list of all resources at the same time. All this information also is available there. I can add more field if required. I can double click on the resource, go to the details of resource information. I can see other resource at the same time if it require. I can use custom fields. So this resource form is useless, but Microsoft decided, if I remember correctly, 2013 or 2010, to introduce this new view. Okay, why they introduced? Because the person who designed this UX, user experience, had no clue how exactly end users are using this software. Okay, so let me clean up here to tell you. Task usage is important. Task form is garbage. Let me remove task form. Tracking resource form is garbage. Resource form is garbage, similar to task form. Resource sheet, resource usage is good. Maybe even and you cannot change the sequence, right? If this sort is based on I think alphabet. If you want to have a view on top, you need to rename, add some character in the behind so you can see it on top. And I think we're good now, because now imagine this is my project. I want Gantt chart here, I want task usage here. Task usage and resource usage are super important, amazing tools. So I can quickly and swiftly switch between these views, right? Timeline, maybe we can remove it. Let me remove it, it's just fancy. Gantt chart, you will use it for all the planning stage. Gantt chart can cover whatever you need, right? For after when you start updating your project, tracking Gantt, because on tracking Gantt you can see the baseline and the current plan at the same time. You will using mostly tracking Gantt to update the information. If you have a detail, you will use resource usage and task usage, and it provide you a structure that have very beautiful report in your project. And if you want resource graph also, or you can just ignore it, resource graph is not important. It's nice, very good, it can help you, but normally it can help you when you split and you add the resource graph here, so you can see the tasks. Okay, you can see the tasks and you can see the graph at the same time. But alone, no, alone it's not a big deal. Honestly, it's not practical. Okay, but here, if you look at here, Microsoft project before 2010 was like this, if I remember correctly. There was no team planner, although at that moment there was no team planner, but you could select all the critical and important views in Microsoft project on view bar, and using the view bar was very nice, so you could swiftly and quickly switch between the important views. Okay, so that was one point that I wanted to raise. So if I want to summarize this problem, the main problem is whoever work on this part of the software, this part of the Microsoft project, had absolutely no clue on how to use Microsoft project efficiently. Okay, although you may say, okay, it's not a big deal, you can change as you did, you can change this structure and make it as you wish. But my point is, whoever designed this one, whoever delivered this one, should consider the usage of the end user as well. Okay, why adding a nonsense, absolutely nonsense view here in and put it in front of the customer view? Because this view, when you select select this part showing menu, is basically for those menus that are has more usage for the user. If there is a view that I want to open it only one time in 1 year of the project, then I can come here and apply it, right, like this. Okay, but if you have a view that you know that a user will never, 99.99% will never use it in the project during the planning, updating, or whatever stage of the project, why on earth you are going to include it here? The only explanation here is those people that work on this part had no clue on what they are doing. Okay, sadly. Okay, so that was the problem one. The next problem that I want to discuss, and still it's related to UX, user experience, because the concept of UX is, let me add a concept here. How many click require to fulfill the requirement? This is very, very important concept. This is a very important concept in UX design. Okay, in our example, as I told you, it used to be just one click, right? Tracking Gantt, one click. Gantt chart, one click. But when Microsoft introduced all those nonsense views inside of the Microsoft project, it created the problem for the user where they had to use multiple click to reach the required view, right? It was, now I had to go down. Although you may say, come on, it's not a big deal, it's just a matter of a few more clicks, but it's really, really important, and it will affect an image and perspective of person, the user, on the tool. If your software developers, your software design teams is not considering this in the design of your software, you are going to suffer later, right? It's very important. Okay, now same problem. So you get what I mean, right? It used to be one click. Now, for example, for Tracking Gantt, in one click, in maybe very quick, right? It was just matter of one click. Now, if you open the default Microsoft project, you have to click multiple times, search, find Tracking Gantt, and it takes more time and more click from you, and it is really bothering you. It will be really bothering you when you are in the middle of project work. You have to do a lot of works, and you want to update, and you want to keep switching between the views in your project, and it is just killing your time, okay, and make you tired. Okay, so I discussed about this point, and now we are familiar with this concept, right? This concept is important. Now I want to show you another important thing. In Microsoft project, to perform updates, we used to have where is it? Now you look at here. Before introducing the ribbons, in Microsoft project you have one option here, update project. Update project is basically help you to mainly the main usage is to reschedule completed task, and it work based on this current date. Let me let's assume that, let me come here, current date is 8 December, right? Let me move the current date to 15. Okay, here. Now on grid line, let me find the current date and make it red. Right, now let me select all. Okay, come here, update project. Okay, set 0%, 100%, set 0% or 100%. Update work as complete through this task. Okay, when I select it, when I select update this one, basically what Microsoft Project is doing is, Microsoft Project is saying up to this date, which is current date, I will update all the tasks according to the plan. So let's say in your project you planned everything, and everything you have done in your project was according to your plan. Everything was based on the plan. You can just simply come here, update project, and tell Microsoft Project everything was smoothly happen according to the plan, and press OK. Okay. There is another option. It's not a. It's very nice. Okay, it's very nice. And there was another option that, let's assume that 1 week passed. For example, project information. Another week passed, like 22. And I'm coming here and I'm telling you that, guys, this task T1 was completed. Not completed. We progressed for this T1 according to the plan. Okay, I'm here now. I am here. Instead of entire project, I can select task and press OK. This one was selected, but it didn't apply. Let me double check. Maybe it was a bug. Selected task 22. Okay, I selected the wrong date. So for the selected task, now I can see I see the progress. Okay, for 22. But for the second one, I'm telling you guys, this task is updated, but we couldn't work on this task. This task is stopped this week. This week I'm in here, and we expect next week also we cannot work on this task, and we will start working on this task, continuing the work on this task for end of December, right? So here I'm selecting this one, so selected task. Here I have option reschedule. Okay, reschedule the remaining work for 29. Okay, and it will automatically reschedule the remaining work, as you can see here, to for the next week, right? It was a very nice, honestly very nice tool. Okay, very nice tool, practical tool, and still it's working. And even if today you want to update your project based on the condition that you are dealing with and based on the level of details that you want to enter into the software, you can use it. Okay, but my complaint is, when you do the update, it's not only about this one, right? There is another menu used in Microsoft, which is here, task. Let me go to here. See, here I was on project. Okay, although it's mentioned project is update, and also if the name is update project, but what I'm doing is update tasks one by one, or all tasks. Okay, but the placement of this one here is odd, strange, because we have another important option here on the task ribbon, and they even hide this one and they put it here. Let me, if I click here, you can see 0%, 20%, 100%. It's not, honestly, it's not nice to use this. Okay, but they put it here, update task. Look at here, they basically hide this update task here, so no one used that. But it's a very important feature in Microsoft Project. Why do you try to hide it? How on earth this update task, where you can specify the actual start date, actual finish, remaining, actual duration, remaining duration, all this critical information during the updating of your task, you try to hide it here, and you put all these shitty icons here. Come on. Let me tell you the difference. When let's say I have 20 days, okay? Let me give you an example that you will see what I mean. And before 2010, if I remember correctly, from Project Reborn, this update project and this update task was close to each other on the same place on the menu in Microsoft Project. Now they put them separately, one here and another here, and they hide it here. It doesn't make sense for me at all. It only indicates me that whoever work on this project, not basically who, the team, I am sure Microsoft have a lot of people working on this product, right? Big company, giant company with a lot of money. But their problem is those peoples are not using these softwares. I'm sure they are not using these softwares properly. Even if they use it, they are not using this software properly. So they have absolutely no clue how to optimize this software for end user. That's why they hide this one, make it harder for end user to find it with more click, right? With more click, and keep forcing user to switch between this ribbon and this ribbon to find to use this one. But what it was in past, it was close to each other, next to each other, and visible for the user. Imagine here, instead of Smart Contract, it was, if I remember correctly, Smart Contract, update project, and update task was close to each other. Okay. Although the name of this menu is update project, you need to use it to update task. Mainly, this case, when you want to reschedule a task for future, the remaining work, to shift it for the future. So let me take another screenshot. Put it here. Problem 2. Update project, update task placement. At least they didn't hide this one, but we are on a separate. We have to keep switch between these tabs to reach this menu, and it's very practical menu. It's something that you need to use it. And task, and I think new one. The 3 second. Okay. See, they hide it here. You have to select this one, then you will see this. Come on. Okay. This problem is still linked to our previous discussion. How many more clicks required to reach a specific page? or a specific feature on Microsoft project. Okay, I'm giving you these examples. You can find similar points in Microsoft project. I'm just trying to emphasize these examples to tell you that whoever behind this software actually they don't know how to use it, or they are not from my perspective, from my point of view, they are not qualified team to improve the features. Okay, now problem 3. Let me maybe now it's time 3 resource what was the name? Let me go to the resource sheet. Cost. Resource type cost. This one is maybe I can say okay, it's not a big deal. It is just going on my nerve. It require more time, killing my time, and not user friendly concept. But this one is a really big deal. So what happened is, in Microsoft project, I think in 2010, they introduced a concept, resource cost. They used to have only work and material, right? But in 2013 or 2010, let me go, when Microsoft added resource type cost, let me just Google it, or maybe ask AI. For many years, but which year? This AI also, it doesn't give me a good answer here, but I think it was 2010 if I remember, or 2013, I don't remember, but not a big deal. So shortest story, they introduced this new resource type. In Microsoft project, we used to have a field fixed cost. Fixed cost, you could assign cost directly to the task without assigning any resource to the task, right? It was a fixed cost, and for many years people used the fixed cost, but then in 2010 or 2013, I don't remember, they introduced this one. Okay, so we had material, we had the work, and they introduced cost. Initially it was nice till we start using this cost resource, but we found that earned value is not using cost as a resource, and it was a surprise. Initially you thought, okay, it was a mistake, they are going to fix this one very soon, and we were all happy. Okay, this actually could help, because fixed cost was only one field. You could, for example, if you had multiple source for the fixed cost, you couldn't include it easily into the software. You had to use custom field, cost 1, cost 2, cost 3, then sum up everything in one field, and then copy paste it into the fixed cost in the Microsoft project. But we were happy that Microsoft introduced the resource cost at the beginning. Let me R1, R2, and everything was okay. But when we started to using this one, and suddenly we noticed that Microsoft project has an issue to use this resource in the earn value, and earn value is not calculated the resource cost. At first we shocked, and we thought that, oh, okay, Microsoft is going to fix this one, even after we even reported this issue for many times. But if you YouTube, the last time I checked was when I was recording this video. Let me bring it to you. SV or this. Let me go to my playlist here. I record a project management proficiency test. Okay, in this series of videos, I don't remember which video was related to earned value. I think it's let me go earned value maybe. Anyway, my point is it is this one I tested 4 weeks back, 1 month ago. This one tested around 1 month back, and at that point that bug exists. So the point is Microsoft introduced resource cost in, let's say, 2000, I don't remember, 2013 or 2010. Let's assume 2013. Let's give it a break to Microsoft. Let's just assume that it wasn't 2010, it wasn't 2013. Okay, and it has a bug. It's not a very simple bug. It's not a small bug. It totally make your earned value calculation useless. As a bug that cannot calculate EV from resource cost. Okay. 2024, still this bug exists. 2024, better I say October. Okay, now I'm going to test it in front of you guys and update this here again. Maybe because as we checked, there was a new release in November. Maybe they fixed this one. So this bug exists in ecosystem of Microsoft project. And also, as I said, this is not a small bug. It's a very big deal and exists in their ecosystem for more than 10 years, right? Let me test. So I have a resource cost. I have a normal resource. Let me put some cost here. Now going to Gantt chart. Let me remove all this progress, right? Also remove maybe task to just make it simple. Okay, and let me assign 2 resource, right? One is R1, which is work, and R2, and the cost for this one is, let's say, 50,000. Okay, and for this one is, I assigned the cost to other one, right? $10, maybe $1,000 per hour, right? Now it's, let me change the duration to 10 days, and so 80,000 this one. Okay, let me save the file just in case. Okay, and resource usage, no, task usage is better. So look at here, this task is work 80 hours 10 days, and let me add the cost, 80,000, 50,000, so total cost is 130,000, right? To total cost of this task. Very simple, right? If I add the cost here, as you can see, for example, day 1 8 hours 10,500, 8,000 from the R1 and 2,500 from this one, right? So this one is not, I think is not updated. This is R2. the cost for R2. So now what I'm doing is, let me say what I want to double to make sure it's calculated properly. Let me go to earn value. Earn value. Okay. I didn't take the baseline, that's why it's not calculating. But here I can see the estimated completion is 130,000. It's correct, right? Based on the initial planning. Now I'm taking baseline, set baseline in my project. Now I can see it's, and let me also remove change working time, make it 7 days, remove, so it can visually make it easier to check. It was 8 to 12 by default, 13 to 15. Okay. The entry, I just want to double check if everything is ready and correct before let me move back to 8. Okay, so this is my plan. Let me go to the tracking Gantt. Let me take the baseline again, project baseline. Okay, so this is my plan. I'm here. This is my whole project, 10 days, and insert cost. My cost is 130,000. Let me add the in value fields here. Baseline cost is 130,000, just to make sure everything is aligned. Yeah, true, the baseline cost is 130,000. Now let me insert earned value or EV BCWP. Microsoft is telling it BCWP, or budget cost for work performed, or maybe no, well, just maybe let me go to the earned value table instead of adding. Okay, now and project just to make sure I have a status date. That the status date, let me remove it. So grid line, my current date. Okay, let me make it red just to be sure everything is fine. Okay, now as you can see, the only thing that in earned value is calculated is because from time perspective, I'm here, project is planned to start at this date and finish here. We have plan is completed, baseline is already saved, EAC is 130,000, which is correct, BAC is 130,000, which is correct, but there is no actual value for me and no SV SPI. Everything is seems correct. Now project information, and project start date is 8th of December, right? So 8th of December is a project. Let me go to 20 to 15. Okay, here. Now Microsoft project is calculated the planned value 64,000. Okay, and now let's assume all these tasks is completed as per plan, nothing changed. So if I come here and say okay, now 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, I'm sorry, I made one mistake here. I need to fix it. I forgot about the resource calendar. Resource. Shit, this one. Oh, this one is a standard. So let me double check. Because here on Gantt chart, it's more than 10 days. Give me a second. Don't just Microsoft, don't tell me you have more bug. Here I can see 10 days, right? But on Gantt chart it's more than 10 days. Let me start 8, finish 27, duration 10 days. I think I made some mistake somewhere. Let me task usage 8 hours. Oh damn. See, this is another problem in Microsoft project. Initially it was 20 days, right? I changed the duration from 10 to 20, but Microsoft didn't remove the value for Microsoft adopted the resource one. Microsoft adopted the resource one with the new duration, but Microsoft project didn't adopt itself with this one. So that's another problem. Let me remove now resource 2, now assign it back. Microsoft. So issue of the I just noticed another problem here. The resource, it's very obvious that when they introduced the resource cost, they didn't test it properly. Now let me, how much was 50,000, right? I said 50,000. Okay, now I have to just imagine you start using the resource cost in your project, and you end up having a case that you have to update your project. This one I didn't expect to see it here, but seems like this is a new problem. Come on, Microsoft. So let me take the project baseline again. Okay, now let me go to the earned value. Earned value. Now, as you can see, let me say all these tasks completed so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days is completed successfully. So I'm here, update task, and say 7 days actual duration as per the plan. Microsoft project is automatically calculate the earned value, actual cost, SV, CV. Not actually, these two is not important because I need SPI and CPI. These two are important. Okay, so CPI is 1, but SPI is not calculated correctly. Maybe because here it's 5 p.m. I need to make it maybe 14. Then yeah, because Microsoft, when you want to manually assign the dates, you always need to remember that on the UI, Microsoft project always showing end of day for current date. Always showing the beginning of the day for current date, even if the hours is 8 a.m. on the UI. So now it's correct. Now look at the value that Microsoft project is calculated. So for all these days, let me go to the task usage. As you can see, let me check if I can add earned value here. And PC. It's not exist here, or BCWS, BCWP. BCWP basically is the earned value. So here, let me zoom for day 1. So for day 1, as you can see, for day one, Microsoft project, or all these days, although that task is completed, Microsoft project didn't fill automatically the BCWP for the resource cost. So although let me better if I take it from here. So what I'm saying here is BCWP, whoever coded this part in Microsoft project missed here, and they didn't test it, and they didn't listen to the community, because I personally reported this bug long time back, and I'm sure many other practitioners in this whoever used this software also reported this point to them. And for me it is totally unacceptable that they couldn't and they didn't fix this bug. So this bug basically, and the previous bug that happened during the recording this video right now in front of you, is telling me that whoever designed, so this bug still exists. (2024) December 8th, bug still exists. So it means the idiot who designed this one and those idiots that tested this feature in Microsoft project, all of them, and I cannot say how stupid is this problem, because it is not a big deal. I'm sure their developers can easily fix it, but I cannot understand how on earth they couldn't fix this one all these years. I'm not talking about 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We are talking about more than 10 years. This story is around more than 10 years in this software. And this is another kind of notification for me that tell me that the team behind this tool in Microsoft project, they don't know what they are doing. So short story, if you want to use Microsoft project, just ignore resource cost. Just assume that Microsoft never introduced resource cost in Microsoft project. Okay, let's continue. This one I showed you, and let me now show you something beautiful. Let me remove this. Let me move back to entry, remove these resources. I want to show you something else. Baseline, let me remove baseline as well. I don't need this one, I don't need this one. Should be fine now. Let me show you something. It's not a really big deal, but I think this bug also exists in Microsoft project since 2007. Let me show you. Let me here, this is success source. Let me assign resource. Let me find a resource, R1. It's a work, right? Press OK. It assign automatically 1 unit. 1 unit means 8 hours per day. Okay, here the definition is one resource, one R1 is working on this task, and this task, because every day require 8 hours and the duration is 10 days, 10 multiplied by 8 is 80 hours, right? Now let me put it as fixed work. Okay, and there, how can I put the title here? Let me put a title, unit value calculation. Split view resource. Let me take a screenshot from here. Okay, and put it here. In Microsoft Project, there is a very simple concept, and simple and important. Okay, there is a formula. Let me type it here. Here, let me come here. Work is equal to unit per time multiply by duration, right? Same as our example here. This task is 10 days, right? This task is 10 days. You assign one resource, one person, or one full-time. When you say full-time, then you also you need to look at look and see how many hours you set up, you designed for your task per day, and it is calculated here. File, if you go to the file option, if you remember here in a schedule, there is hours per day. Okay, so when you say 10 working days, one resource full time, it means 10 multiplied by 8, and the total work is 80 hours. So here in this example, it means 80 hours is equal to 8 hours multiplied by 10. 8 hours is basically 1 unit, because your unit in your project is based on 8 hours per day. Okay, now let me show you something. And now, because it's a basic function, basic mathematic function, right? Now if you try to if you say total work is fixed, then if you try to increase the duration, then unit per time is going down, right? Simple example is, let's say you want to say I have a task that require 80 hours, right? I have one resource, and this resource can do it in 10 days. Let's say I want to do the same work, but I want to finish it in 20 days. Then it means your resource need to spend less than 8 hours per day, 4 hours only, right? So your work is fixed, the total amount of work is fixed. You increase the duration, so unit per time reduce, right? Now let me do it in Microsoft Project. In Microsoft Project, now let's say this is fixed work, right? So duration, total work is fixed. Now I want to increase the duration from 10, okay, to 20. Press OK. It's done, right? And even if I go to the task usage, I can see the work of this resource on this task is now 4 hours. But the problem is here still it is showing 1 unit. Still it is showing 1 unit. If I can manually change to half, and still my calculation is correct. And funny part is, before 2007 or 2000, I don't remember, this one was calculated properly and correctly. But now they changed something, they messed up something, and now this value is not calculated correctly. And it can mislead the person. If the person is using this view in Microsoft Project, this can mislead the user. You may say it's not a big deal, but for me it's a big deal, because it is indicating those teams that are working on this software doesn't give a, I wanted to use a bad word, they don't care about the software, they don't care about their solution. They created a bug and they didn't fix it for 15 years. That's my problem with this software and with the developers. See, see, guys, the point here is it's normal. You release, you provide the software, having a bug is normal, right? It's not a big deal. It's normal that you release something is not working. It's normal that the bug may exist for a long time and nobody identified. Okay, that's fine. It's normal. But it is not, absolutely it's not normal that you have a bug that is reported a lot of times and you keep it open in your software for 15 years, more than 10 years, especially when solving such a bug is not a big deal. It's not a rocket science and you can do it easily. So what the hell is wrong with you, Microsoft? That's really want to ask Microsoft. I don't know who exactly is the team lead for in this project. I don't know who is the team lead for Microsoft Project Solution in Microsoft, but I'm sure they have a big team that working on these solutions. Right, and also we are not talking about a small company without the money, without support. We are talking about the damn Microsoft, a giant tech company. Do you think it's acceptable, this one, or the bug related to uh, which one? This one? These two just telling me that the quality of work at Microsoft for this solution is very low. I can say, okay, these two is related to UX, usability, just it is what it is. They make it hard for the user, okay, but come on, these two, especially this one, yeah, okay, it doesn't matter. It is not affecting your calculation. It can mislead you and end up you calculate the inform you perform wrong calculation, but this one is basically make the feature, make the available feature in Microsoft project useless, and they didn't care about it so far. Okay, let me check if I want to discuss about anything else in Microsoft project. We discussed the usability, we discussed about the bugs, and the list of bugs is more than this. I only focus on these 2 points here, and now let me discuss about some points that Microsoft can improve in their software. You know, in Microsoft project they introduce a budget, the concept of budget, okay, and it's a very good feature, but the problem is they stop at that moment. Okay, let me show you. Let's say this is my I have a resource, right? I also have a cost. Okay, let's say this is my plan, and let me define also a budget. So I'm going to resource sheet, and let's make this one budget. This R2 is budget. Okay, and coming back to Gantt, I cannot assign budget to this one. I need to enable, where is it, view, no, here, project summary task. I can assign this budget to this one, R2. Okay, let's say, how much is the total cost? 80,000, right? So budget is 90,000, right? So if the budget is 90, the cost is 80, so you expect if you finish your project according to the plan, at the end you are going to have 80,000, 10,000 profit, right? That's the important point. So your budget cost, go I don't want to talk about, it's not easy to I just leave it as it is, but here as you can see, you cannot put it here. You need to insert budget cost, then say okay, 90,000. But the problem here is, the main problem here is let me show you. I don't want to spread it like this. Let me for example, let me make it 8 8 8 8 8. How many I made 8? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now, so I let me put it 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 hours, 2 hours. Now I 80,000, right? So the total cost is 80,000, the budget is 90,000. I didn't want to make it linear, okay? So basically the idea is at the beginning of project my cost is higher. Now let me say because when you assign the budget, Microsoft Project by default is spreading the budget linear in your project, but the reality is not like this. The reality, you receive the budget, for example 20% of the budget at the beginning, down payment, and the money injected in your project based on a plan, right? So let me show budget cost. If task, I added, no? Seems like no. Budget cost. Okay, so budget cost is based currently 4,500 per day. Okay, so now Microsoft Project is not giving me any alarm. Okay, maybe it's a good idea that Microsoft Project, because in Microsoft Project there is a concept, although maybe you say it's not very practical, but when you have resource allocation problem, when you have the resource allocation problem, you see the red line here. Let me show it to you. T2 automatic and 20 days, and this one also using R1. Okay, as soon as I have over allocation, Microsoft is giving me the alarm. Okay, and I can see that I have a problem with the resource. But when I have a problem with the budget, and the problem with the budget is, let me the main problem with the budget is the amount of budget that I receive for that specific day or that specific period of time is not aligned with the amount of money that I want to spend. So I have let me put it here as one item for improvement. Okay, there are many in Microsoft Project that they can focus on improvement. One of them is budget cost leveling. At least we can expect Microsoft to give us some notification like resource allocation that your budget is not aligned with your cost. Your income is not aligned with your spending plan. Your cash flow has a problem. Whatever you receive cannot cover for whatever you want to spend. That's a very important concept, even more important than resource leveling. But in Microsoft Project, they just don't notify you. They are not going to give you any alarm. They also not giving you any Although it is not giving you any help to do the, for example, for resource leveling, you may say, okay, Microsoft at least has some automatic leveling, although it is useless, but at least exists. But here for budget and cost problem, there is no solution. There is no feature. You have to do it manually. Okay, it would be nice and more practical if Microsoft Project at least put the red line, red alarm, notify you that you have such a problem, and also maybe for budget also provide cumulative budget value, because at the moment it's not exists. For the cost they have, but for the budget they don't have. So when you need to draw the graph, let me show you. They have a report, visual graph, budget cost report, right? Let me make it days, view. Okay, let me open here. See, yeah, it's fine. If you finish the project, at the end you have 10,000. But the problem is you are going to have a financial problem at the beginning of your project, because at the beginning of your not actual, I don't want actual, I need cumulative. Baseline cost, no. Budget cost, I want. Cost, I don't. No, cost, cumulative cost. See, if Microsoft Project doesn't have a field for cumulative budget cost. If it had, you could compare it very nicely. But here in our example, even the first day, your cumulative cost is higher than your budget cost. Even if you add the second one to each other also, you are going to have a problem. So it means amount of money that you inject in your project is not aligned with the amount of money you actually need in your project. So it would be nice if Microsoft add cumulative budget, and also like maybe at the end you will have the 10,000 difference, right? But here you have a problem. And also it would be nice if Microsoft Project give you some alarm notification that your budget and cost is not aligned. Okay, I think we discussed a lot. There are a lot more improvement that I would like to see in Microsoft Project, but I cannot, I don't have time. Basically it will be a very long video to discuss about each feature separately, see where we can improve. But the main problem here is the Microsoft. I don't see any intention from Microsoft and Microsoft team to improve this tool. That's my main concern and my main problem. And I think we are good with this video. I covered, I gave you so many examples on the problems that exist in Microsoft projects, and the bug exists in Microsoft project for a long time. There are more bugs, but I try to give you the important one, especially the resource cost problem. And also I gave you some hint that where Microsoft Project can improve the tool and make it more practical, more useful, because honestly this is very important in any project, that you can compare the cost and budget, and make sure that the cost and your budget is aligned, the cost plan and your budget plan are aligned, and if it's not aligned, you have to do the leveling for your cost and budget. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any question, put it in the comment. If you have any bug in Microsoft Project, also put it in the comment. I can also double check. It would be nice for me also to make sure to double check these kind of bugs. And if you know anyone from Microsoft team that working on this project, please show this video to them and tell them that there is a guy here that is waiting for them to fix those bugs for many years. Thank you and have a good day.